individual paths with the tapestry of Sweet Briar's history. Thank you.
Thank you, Sydney. It is now my honor to introduce Diane Shields, Tribal Chief of the Monacan Indian Nation. Chief Diane Shields was born in Virginia to Louis D. Johns and Louise Cook Johns. At the age of 5, her family relocated to Ohio. Her paternal heritage is rooted in the Monacan tribe, and her growing interest in genealogy sparked an exploration of her family roots. Her father's Monacan ancestry brought her to Amherst, Virginia in 1992 to enjoy the Monacan powwow and obtain her tribal enrollment card. Overwhelmed by her connection to the Monacan people, Chief Shields and her husband decided to move to Amherst County in 1993. Since then, Chief Shields has committed herself to serving her people and advocating for their rights and heritage. She served on the boards of the Monacan, Pamunkey, Mattaponi Consortium and the United Indians of Virginia. She contributed significantly to gathering historical research and genealogical evidence to document the Monacan Indian community's continuity as part of an initiative to secure federal recognition. She was pivotal in creating the original tribal enrollment rolls and crafting the application for the Bureau of Indian Affairs to formally recognize the Monacan Indian Nation. She has held various leadership positions within the Monacan community, including assistant chief, secretary, and treasurer. She was on the council when the Monacan Indian Nation achieved federal recognition in 2018 and played a key role in establishing its first contract with the Bureau of Indian Affairs to build the nation's office. After this, Chief Shields assumed the role of director for the Monacan Nation Cultural Foundation, the tribe's nonprofit arm. She was elected chief of the Monacan Indian Nation on June 17, 2023. I am thrilled that the Monacan Indian Nation and Sweet Briar College have developed a closer relationship as both of our communities strive to be good neighbors and serve our region. I am so pleased to have Chief Shields and Assistant Chief Lou Parrish with us on this very special day. Please join me in welcoming Chief Shields and Assistant Chief Parrish for their remarks.
Thank you so much. I forgot I did all that stuff. I hope that each one of you understand, or maybe you don't know, how lucky you are to be on such a beautiful campus and to be able to get a college education here. That wasn't in our community. We didn't have that until just recently. We have a scholarship fund established here for our students. If I had grown up here I was born in 1947, and like President said, we moved to Ohio. But if I had been here, I would have gone to the Indian Mission School here in Amherst. That was the only source of education for our people. It was established by the Episcopal Diocese, and we weren't allowed in public school because from 1924 to 1967, the racial integrity law was in fact instituted, and the Monacan people were not allowed in public school. We would have got an education there at the mission up to 6th grade only. So if you wanted an education further than that, you wouldn't be able to get it at that time. But once we went in public school, we began to get a better education. We began to work and research for our people to document who we really were, because on all of that time frame during the racial integrity law, we were told we were other than Indian people, and we all knew who we were. So we worked really hard documenting it. It took years. In, let's see, it was 1989 when we finally acquired state recognition here in Virginia. And I hope in all of your studies you have studied Virginia history and you know there are other tribes here, and two of the oldest reservations in this country are here in Virginia. After we got the state recognition, of course, it was words only. It didn't do anything to help us other than we could put it on a piece of paper. So we continued our research, and that's when I moved back here to document ourselves for federal recognition. We went to DC to meet with the Bureau of Indian Affairs, and they sat across a large table from us and told us we'd probably all be dead before we got federal recognition. It was that difficult of a process for our people to be documented for who they really were. But we were determined, and we worked really, really hard, and it took us until 2018 to get federal recognition. And I just want all of you to think in your heart who you are. You know yourself, and don't ever, ever let somebody else tell you you're not who you are, because you are the best you can be, and that's what you were born to be. Thank you.
Hello again, Sweet Briar College. My name is Assistant Chief Lou Branham. I don't normally write formatted speeches because I am a speaker on behalf of our history and culture. That is my job. And my lifelong goal is to reach not only Virginia but other states in reference to our history and culture. I can't reiterate enough what Diane has said, Chief Diane, and her efforts. She is right now my shero. She is a woman that is mentoring me as far as women in leadership. I honor her as my elder, and she's like my second mother. And the things that Diane did move away a long time ago, so she did not have to suffer the consequences that some of us did by staying here in Amherst County. I grew up here. I'm 55 years old, and I've lived here my entire life. And you guys, please just be grateful that you have this institution of education to attend, that you have parents that have strived and probably worked very hard to be able to send you to this college. We didn't have that opportunity in my family. My parents worked very hard, and their parents worked very hard, and my great-grandparents, but they did not have the opportunity to attend public schools due to segregation. My mother and father both are Monacan from two different clans. So my father was a Branham and my mother was a Johns, and these are two of the biggest clans that make up the nation, and two families that actually married one another. So I have a lot of double first cousins. But in hearing my mother's stories growing up and attending the Indian Mission School, her and my father both, my father went, and of course, and he left at sixth grade to go out, work in an apple orchard to continue to be able to support his family, and eventually went into the United States Army where he continued his education. My mother was one of the recipients who actually, she was one of the first 21 children from the Indian Mission School that were able to go to Amherst County Public Schools when the schools integrated. And I can remember stories of her telling me how they would come out, the Amherst County Public School System came out and lined them all up in a line and picked out the ones that were light enough to pass that could go to school. And she happened to be one of those people. And the darker ones, of course, had to stay and continue their education at the Indian Mission School and never got the opportunity to attend public schools. So when you think about stories like that, I hope it touches your heart and opens your mind that this world that you're living in currently today has not always been this way. And in some areas, it's still that way. And it's up to you guys as the future generation to do something about that. Stand your ground. Know the purpose of your life. You're getting a great education. Please don't take that for granted, because so many people were not able to obtain what you're able to obtain right now. I had an opportunity to go to college. I just didn't. So I've gotten a lot of my education in a book called The Living of Life, just in general. I feel like I'm well-rounded. I'm not the smartest tool in the shed, the sharpest tool in the shed, but I'm very smart, avid reader, continue to educate myself on areas that interest me. But as far as the opportunity to go to college, I did have the opportunity, but financially, my mother and father couldn't afford it. So, yet again, that's something else that I was not able to do in my life just due to economically. And I do appreciate, again, Mary Pope for working with me and actually getting scholarship funding for one of our students who attends this campus. I hope that she is grateful in receiving that scholarship as I am grateful in her receiving it, and grateful to the college for giving that to her and giving her the opportunity that I'm sure her ancestors did not receive. To give you a little bit of background, I'm going to just take a couple more minutes of your time. The Indian Mission School is located at 2009 Kenmore Road, where the Monacan Museum is. It's a one-room schoolhouse. It's been the same. It's a historical landmark in the state of Virginia. I invite you guys to come out there and let me educate you on what it is to be Monacan, what it was to live in that era of time, to take you through that schoolhouse that educated both my parents. And my mother, I remember her saying that she wished she could have continued her education in that little one-room shack, because once she reached into the school system for Amherst County, once schools integrated, it was horrific for her. Even though she was light enough to pass, she was still discriminated against by bus drivers who refused to pick her up to take her to school, by school teachers who sat in the room and she stood an entire class with her hand raised in the air and nobody would answer her questions. She felt neglected and let down yet again within the educational system. That is something that should not happen to anyone. I don't care what color you are. It does not matter what sex you are. Stuff like that should not have happened. And it did. And it was very hurtful. My mother has mended and she has forgiven. She has a greater heart than mine, because I still have a hard time forgiving from some of the stories that I hear. But I'm working on it, so I'm still walking my highway to forgiveness. For forgiveness for this county that ridiculed our people and basically acted like our people didn't exist. But just to let you know, we are here and we are very strong. I come from a long line and a legacy. My father was the first elected chief of the Monacan Nation, and he was the one that was in office when we received our state recognition in 1989. I've been in tribal leadership for 11 years. This is my calling. This is what I'm supposed to do, is to come and speak to groups like you, to drive an initiative in you to understand the past events that have happened. And no, I don't hold the past against anyone, because we need to move on to the future. But when the past, you've lived that past and it has affected you, it can stay in your heart just for a little while. Even with me in the Amherst County school system myself, I was called an Isha, a mongrel, a half-breed, a red nigger, amongst just some of the names. And that was in the 70s and 80s. So that was not that long ago, where I also felt like someone who was misplaced and out of place in the educational system. So please, today I ask you, know your neighbor, because you never know who you're talking to. You never know who you're sitting in class beside. Know the people that are in your life and get to know those of other ethnic groups, because we do have something to offer. And if not, it's our history and the education to educate you guys about what our history is. I thank you for the opportunity to be here today. I thank you for the relationship, Mary Pope, that you and I have gotten up into this point. We're going to do great things together. As long as you can remain to stay here, and I'm going to make sure that you stay here, and I remain at the museum, I look forward to working with you. All of the students that are here, congratulations. Enjoy your new school year. And please do not take for granted the education that you are receiving from Sweet Briar College.
Chief Shields and Assistant Chief Branham, thank you for your moving remarks. We know that you have to leave us now for other commitments that they made for the nation, and we're so grateful that you were able to be with us today for the land acknowledgement ceremony and dedication in the quad, and also for your wonderful, inspiring remarks. Will you all please join me in giving a round of applause? And we will be doing more together. The best is yet to come. Thank you all again. It's now my pleasure to ask Dean Lisa Powell to come to the podium and announce the 2025 Convocation Awards.
It is with great pleasure that I announce our 2025 Convocation Awards. The college annually recognizes academic achievement by conferring upon the highest ranking member or members of each class the honorary title of Emily Watts McVeigh Scholar, a designation that bears the name of the second president of Sweet Briar College. The McVeigh Scholars for the 25-26 academic year are, and I encourage you to stand when your name is called, for the class of 2026, Wyatt Felton, Theo Hawkins, and Maggie Minton. For the class of 2027, Amanda Dalton, Daisy Janney, and Natalie Shellen. For the class of 2028, Carissa Boyce, Caitlin Kyle, Ella Leisenring, and Haley Min. And let's continue on with that class of 2028. We also have Lily Mossaman, Rowan Panchmatia, Gwyneth Parker, and Isabel Purdue. The Nancy Godwin Baldwin Class of 1957 Scholars were awarded for the first time in 2015 in memory of Nancy Godwin Baldwin, Class of 1957, for her 54 years of dedication and service to her alma mater. This scholarship is awarded to students who have made major contributions to the school and community through their leadership and demonstration of academic excellence. The Baldwin Scholars from the class of 2026 are Alice Duncan, will now say please stand as I call your name, Alice Duncan, Emma Evans, Wyatt Felton, Estee Finley Brooke, Theo Hawkins, and Sweejel Kafla. The Sarah Porter Baimler 65 Scholarship was established in 2006 to recognize a first-year student who exemplifies the qualities of leadership, character, and integrity, as well as academic and extracurricular achievement. This scholarship honors its namesake for her role as a mentor to young women and the first woman senior executive of the American Stock Exchange. The 2025-2026 recipient of the Baimler Scholarship is Sadie Swart, class of 2029. Please stand. The Legacy Scholar was established in 1974 by the Alumni Association to honor alumni legacy students in the junior or senior class who have demonstrated, while at Sweet Briar, the traditions of sound learning and social responsibility which have characterized the alumni of the college since its founding. This year's Legacy Scholar from the class of 2026 is Leah Partington. Please stand. In addition to these whole college awards, several academic awards have been given and are listed in the program. I ask these students to stand as I call their names so that we may recognize them today. Please hold your applause until they all have been announced. Shadia Suleiman, class of 2026, was selected for the Julia Sadler DeColony Award. Aitaf Juma, class of 2026, has received the Gill Scholarship. Leah Partington, class of 2026, has received the Lauren Oliver Award. Elizabeth Telkamp, class of 2027, has received the Kenmore Scholar Award. Abigail Logan, class of 2027, has been awarded the Rebecca Tomlinson Lindbaum Award. Kendall Rander, class of 2026, is the recipient of the Irene Mitchell Moore Scholarship. And finally, Carissa Boyce, class of 2028, and Ariana Snyder, class of 2026, are the recipients of the R&D Farms Award. Please join me in applauding all of these prize recipients. We congratulate all students who have earned awards today, and we wish every student at Sweet Briar academic success during this school year. Thank you all, and have a great academic year.
Thank you, Dean Powell, and congratulations again, students, for your amazing, amazing accomplishments. Now I have the pleasure of introducing to you Sally Old Kitchen, Sweet Briar College class of 1976, who is chairing the planning committee for the college's 125th anniversary. Sally has been an extraordinary leader and volunteer on behalf of the college, from serving on numerous committees to being a former board member of this college. She received Sweet Briar's Outstanding Alumna Award in 2011 in recognition of her outstanding contributions to her alma mater. And as a former member of the tennis team, she was inducted into our Athletics Hall of Fame in 2017. She also served on the turf committee for you field hockey enthusiasts, because she made that happen. I was delighted when Sally agreed to serve as the chair of the planning committee for the college's 125th anniversary. She has done a magnificent job in guiding these efforts. I am recognizing Sally and ask her to please stand at this time so you will all join me in thanking her for her vital work in helping to spearhead the planning for the college's anniversary. Sally? And by the way, she's still looking for volunteers. So I'm so excited about the plans for our year-long celebration of the college's 125th anniversary, during which we will salute Sweet Briar's legacy of women's leadership with a variety of special programs and events. Sweet Briar certainly is a place imbued with history, and not just with history of the college itself. Major themes of Virginia and the United States history come together on this campus. They include the indigenous culture of the Monacan Nation, early European settlement, enslavement of Africans and their descendants, the establishment of the new nation, the transition to freedom of enslaved people, segregation, women's access to educational opportunities, desegregation and civil rights, and of course, women's rights. And to help Sweet Briar tell a more accurate and inclusive account of its history, in the spring of 2024, we initiated a cultural landscape study of our campus. This study, now nearing its completion, has been conducted by the architectural firm of Mesick, Cohen, Wilson, and Baker in association with Liz Sargent. The study investigated Sweet Briar's natural and built environment, from its forests and agricultural fields to its archaeological sites and its historic structures, in order to analyze the development and changing uses of these lands from the time of the first people, the Monacan Nation, to the present day. The study will help us preserve our historic campus, guide our land use from what is planted on it, and where future buildings will be situated, and advise us, of course, in making current historic buildings accessible to all. This means that the cultural landscape study and our celebration of the college's 125th anniversary are not just a time for our community to learn more about and honor Sweet Briar's past history. Both of these initiatives are also about the future. Together, we're building a bridge to the future, and what we do today will help determine what the next 125 years in the life of the college and our community will be like. Today, we have the chair of the Amherst County Board of Supervisors, and I'd like her to stand. Claudia Tucker, please stand and be recognized. We also have representatives from Congressman John McGuire's office. Will you all stand and be recognized for your work? I know that the 125 years from now is the year 2150, 2150. The community of Sweet Briar College will be celebrating its 250th anniversary. Finally, before Bishop Knowles closes this ceremony with the benediction, I would like to remind everyone of today's special events. Following the conclusion of convocation, I hope you will join us in a walk to Monument Hill, led by William Plale. Thank you, William, for being here once again as our bagpiper leading the way. We will recognize the contributions of the founder, Indiana Fletcher Williams, and the Williams family to Sweet Briar College. And at 5, we're having a wonderful Founders Day community dinner in Prothrow. And at 6:15, please meet us behind the enslaved community cabin behind Sweet Briar House to join us for a sunset walk to the burial grounds for the enslaved people, where we will honor these men, women, and children with a celebration of their lives and contributions. Bishop Knowles.
Let us pray. Good and loving God, our source of love, light, and wisdom, bless us as we depart today and begin our academic year. It is our privilege and our responsibility to support, foster, and advance the mission of Sweet Briar. Give us foresight by which we plan for the future. Give us confidence to discover and explore new possibilities. Give us wisdom to discern what is right and good and just. Send your creative spirit upon us. We ask for your guidance and grace to use our talents for the advancement of our college. And now, the blessing of God Almighty be upon you this day and remain with you and your families always. Amen.
Thank you all, and cheers to the 125th anniversary of the college and this wonderful Founders Day. It's wonderful to be together. Thank you all for participating, and we'll see you on Monument Hill. Thank you.
Please stand for the recession.